Hello, all. Sherri Coffelt here. I am so excited to come to you today with my talk with Joanne Weiland. Now, Joanne believes life is meant to be simple, easy, fun, and prosperous. Who doesn't want that, right? Well, she believes you get it by doing what you love and loving what you do. And I certainly would concur with that. That's why she invented a way to instantly elevate your digital identity as the expert. She does that by collaborating with other collaborators. Joanne's an influencer and an industry inventor. She's a 3-time #1 international best-selling author who calls masterminding her favorite sport. Welcome, Joanne.
Thank you, Sherri. I'm really excited to be here today. Thank you.
I'm excited for you to be here too. Joanne, I just have to share, we met on LinkedIn and through LinkedIn, and I have to tell you, you have been so amazing in supporting me and using your platform, and I know you'll talk a little bit more about that, to help support my business, and I really want to thank you for that.
You're
So
welcome.
I know you're all about collaborating and about collaborators collaborating. So why don't we just start off with the basic question? Why do you think people don't collaborate more?
Well, I think number one, they don't know that many people. And I'm not saying that to knock anybody, but Sherri, you and I have been blessed to know a lot of people, even a lot of people around the world. And so a lot of times what I found is a lot of people like work with the same people, whether it's at corporate or even when they leave corporate and they become a business owner and they join, just say, a networking group. And the networking group, they usually sit with the same 5 people. And so maybe those 5 people in their circle aren't other people that they would really benefit from working together with, because that's really what collaboration is, figuring out a common thread that you can work together to make it, better and stronger and, amazing actually. But,
Right.
so if they sit with those same 5 people and a lot of times it's just because of the fact that they're comfortable there. So I really think more than not is, they don't because they are a little nervous to leave their comfort zone.
Yeah, and part of that comfort zone, I think, is that feeling that so many entrepreneurs have when they start up, that they have to do it all on their own. They feel like the weight of the world is on their shoulders. And do you
Yes.
feel like they're afraid to reach out sometimes?
Yes, and I think that they feel like they're supposed to do it. And let's just face it, the other part of it is when you're going from corporate to becoming an entrepreneur, when you were in corporate or, in business, working somewhere, you got a paycheck usually every week, every other week, at least once a month. And now all of a sudden you're an entrepreneur and you not only don't get that paycheck, but Sherri, you also don't get anything for free, if you will, like we more than we realize, like just using me as an example. When I first started, I literally used to be shocked when I came in the morning, starting my business, meaning that my assistants didn't do these tasks that they used to do, because I usually work for companies that were on the West Coast and I was on the East Coast. So they had 3 extra hours. So usually by the time I woke up, they were, completed the tasks that I had asked them to. And sometimes I'm embarrassed to admit, but that I would really think that they were still there and they weren't. And not only were they not there, but then I also realized if I did want somebody to do them, I had to pay them.
Mhm.
So I think that's
Right.
another part of it. So you feel like I can learn this, I can do this,
Right.
you know?
Yeah, I know that's how I was when I started my business is, I could figure this out. I could figure anything out. And the fact of the matter is you can. It's just the opportunity cost of that when you're not spending time on the things that you really should be doing. So
Right.
as you know, collaboration is a huge part of what I do. It's the main purpose that I have for LinkedIn and the connections that I make on LinkedIn is finding those collaboration partners that that are complementary to what I do, or even competitive. Frankly, I don't believe in competition, and really looking for the win-wins. So
Yes.
some people, it's interesting. Some people, it feels like they're afraid. They're almost afraid I'm going to steal something from them. Do you ever get that?
Oh, definitely. I do see that. And feel like, well, if I shine the spotlight on Sherri, it'll go off of me.
Mhm.
And I don't think they realize how, like, right now, what we're doing, we're both benefiting from, you
Exactly.
know,
Yeah,
so
that's
definitely.
so true. It's always been interesting to me how that happens. And I'm just one of those, I believe the more you give, the more you get. And when I can spotlight amazing entrepreneurs like you, then I'm doing my community a service because they get the brilliance of you. And I'm always also increasing my own credibility because I'm bringing you to them.
Well, and I agree. And you know what I also just thought of too, Sherri? A lot of times it's also from our past, our history, our story. Just think about how many parents tell their kids never to talk to strangers. It kind of goes back
Right.
to that too. So they're not really comfortable reaching out to each other and saying, "Hey, I need help." I'm not even supposed to really talk to you. And then when you go to corporate,
Mhm.
or again, any business, that you're working with other people, many times more than you realize, people are not taught to collaborate. I mean, I know I was in sales, and in sales, number one, it was really competitive because you were competing against your competition.
Mhm.
How, like, you were in sales too. So, we used to get rated like if we won the sale versus the competition did. But in my world, many times we were competing against our fellow coworkers, and we would have like these charts and everything that would say who sold the most that day, who sold the most that week, who sold the most that month. So you were really competing. You weren't saying, let me figure out how to work with you.
Yeah.
And then what was really interesting to me too, when I would go to different departments, when I was selling to larger corporations, most corporations found department people did not even know what the other department did. Sometimes they didn't even know people in their same department. I would introduce them because, again, they usually sat at their desk, and that was great, but they emailed each other and didn't even get up and
Yeah.
go introduce themselves. And they definitely didn't know what they did, how it affected another department. And I used to tell them, if you could show each other how, what, like, when you just say, put something in the system wrong, how it affects the whole company or at least
Mhm.
a couple other departments. And I really feel like we've never really been taught how what we do can benefit others as well as harm others. And I think that really is the core of why most people don't. We've just been taught that, kind of like, keep your nose to the grindstone and you do what you're supposed to do and not
Right.
really work with
Yeah.
other people.
Well, and the truth is that collaboration is fun, right? So, and I know you think it's fun, or you wouldn't be the collaborator of collaborators. So tell me, what is it about collaboration you think is fun?
Well, I think it's so exciting when we can get wins together. And I call it a win-win-win because it's really, in my world, it's not even just for the two of us. Usually we both have members, or, in a group that it would benefit them too. So it's even sometimes win-win-win-wins because we're really looking for ways that it would benefit the other person, if you will, their people. I know that sounds weird, but
The
their
communities,
members
yeah.
or their groups of their organization. Because otherwise, let's face it, they're not going to do it. I mean, if it's not really something that's going to benefit them, and they're okay with it benefiting you because they know that's, again, they're a collaborator. And so they understand that. But that's what I feel like you have to sometimes dig a little deeper to find a way that it'll make everybody's life better.
Right, right. And that's the end of the day, that's what it's all about is how do we support each other? And I really do feel as entrepreneurs, there's enough business out there for everybody. And when we support each other, we make everybody stronger. So I'm totally with you there. Well, I know you're an expert when it comes to collaboration. You have a whole system built around it. Tell me what you see as some of the future trends around collaboration.
Oh, the way, to make it easy, because let's face it, that's the other part. If it's not easy, people aren't going to do it. So I feel like you have to come up with ways. Like, one of the examples would be like to be able to promote each other. Like, you're really good at that, Sherri. That how, when you're putting something out, but you're also featuring the other person. So like, for an example, we have a unique database exchange program, and we did this on purpose because of the fact that Sherri, if she was a member, for an example, when she uploads this interview, it would not only go to all of her contacts, but it would go to all of our members' contacts.
Mhm.
So we call that a unique database exchange program because,
Mhm.
just for an example, when I go to some networking meetings, they would always ask me to help promote or sell other people's business, which was fine. But let's face it, most of the time you don't even have the time to promote yours as much as you would like to. And so when you're taking an extra one of those days to just promote everybody else's, to go back to your networking meeting and say, okay, I sold you this, and this for all these people. And I used to find that it was usually the easy things, like people that gave haircuts and stuff, and nothing against that, but everybody needs a haircut. So they weren't really promoting mine. That was more complicated. So that's why we knew we had to make it where seamless. All they have to do is focus on what they do best, upload that, and then we do the logistics behind it to make it go to everybody's people.
Oh, that is cool. That's really cool. And to me, I mean, collaboration there's so many ways you can do it, from the very simple all the way to being a member of a portal like what you have with the database and having you do the work. And I do things all the time, from free gift swaps, from promoting somebody else's webinar or workshop, having them promote mine, to these interview series. To just commenting on somebody's posts on social media. That's a way to collaborate. And I don't think we think about that there are so many ways to make it easy and not have it have to be this kind of big thing that we have to do. It's not like it's
Right.
another job. It needs to be part of our current job that helps grow our business while we support others.
And also, like, for an example, when I first met you and I was in awe of your checklist, and I wrote a recommendation for you for LinkedIn. It only takes a couple minutes because you
Right.
just got off the phone with them or whatever. So, and if you could just do things like that too, I think that is tremendous too, to collaborate, because of the fact that a lot of times, people don't really hear you when you're kind of patting yourself on the back. And not that you shouldn't, but if somebody else says it, like I say, Sherri's, checklist is the best. And oh my goodness, I can't
Right.
even believe how she thought of all these things. And wow, she's traveling the world because of the fact that she thought this out. And now she's giving me the tools to be able to do this. And then I shared that with my friends too, as you said, and colleagues and everybody, because of the fact that I do believe too that is key, to give each other, if you will, recommendations, testimonials, whatever you want to call them, and it can even just be a sentence, it doesn't have to be elaborate and easy for me to say. And so, I really think that's a big part of it. And the other part, I really think the future is people are going to realize, like you were saying, there's no competition. And the real part that amazes me is when you can do what you do best, focus on what you do best, and let others do the rest. I always say eliminate the BS, because there's so much stuff that we do that we don't really need to do as business owners. And then automate as many things as possible. That's one of the things we did with Link to Expert. We automated as so many things that we knew that we call the experts, meaning consultants, coaches, team builders, trainers, facilitators, authors, don't enjoy doing. And so if this can save them time, so now they only have to spend 5 minutes a week, and they get exposure to tens of thousands of people consistently and frequently. It saves them so much time.
Right.
And I really think people don't realize that. And the way to do that, Sherri, real quick, is for the next week or two, write down everything you do as an entrepreneur. And you would be shocked how many things then afterwards that, you can go through and say, what can I eliminate? How can I automate this? Can I pay the programmers to do this one time so I never have to do it again? Or my assistants never have to do it again. And then the last thing is, what can I delegate that I really don't either enjoy doing, or what I don't even know how to do? And yes, you could spend the next 2-3 months learning that software and doing it, or you could hire somebody and you could focus on getting out there and getting more business.
Exactly.
So I really feel like it's not as hard as we make it to eliminate, automate, and delegate. And I really feel like that helps you be able to collaborate, because then when you're focused on what you do best, you can figure out how you can either collaborate by giving some of those tasks to some other people to collaborate with and paying them, or you can barter, or you can, then
Mhm.
have a new, clearer idea of how you can even, like what you call the high ticket, clients,
Right.
work with them, because you can create affiliations, you can create bundles, you can create partnerships. And a lot of times that's what's going to draw somebody
Mhm.
to want to buy from you, because of the fact that you have the whole package, but you didn't have to create the whole package. You still focused on what you did best.
Right.
And Sherri did her part, and bingo, we have a win-win-win.
Mhm. Oh, so true. So much juicy stuff here. So I know you have a free gift for the audience. Can you tell us about that?
Yes, I've been in, like you said earlier, 3 different books, and they're anthology books. And that means that everybody writes a chapter. So because of this topic that we're discussing, I'm including for the gift is called Go for the Green. And it's a real simple, easy way to read it. You can read it in 5-7 minutes, and to show you how you can go for the green, how you can, again, eliminate, automate, and delegate information that that your tasks, and focus on what you do best. So it's just it's in a story form. So you'll see 4 different people and how they run their businesses and what the results are. And then you can decide at the end who you think is going to go for the green, meaning make it the $100,000 as an entrepreneur annually. So
I love that. It's every entrepreneur, when I talk to them, it's like their first goal is either they want to make 10K a month or 100 grand a year. It's like written in stone somewhere that I'm not aware of. So I definitely get that. Well, that sounds like a great way to get some ideas in place to how to create some time to open up collaboration. So the link to Joanne's free gift will be below in the notes here. Go and get that, because collaboration is so important. I'm a living example, and I know Joanne is a living example of the benefits of collaboration as I've grown my community, and in fact brought Joanne into my own community and became a part of hers through collaboration. So Joanne, before I let you go, I do have a last question for you.
okay.
If you had known everything that you know today when you started your business, what would you tell your new entrepreneur self?
Well, I tend to believe in people more than I feel like they believe in themselves. And so then let's just face it, I would assume they were a collaborator. And most of the time they weren't. So I couldn't understand why they weren't reciprocating and promoting us like we were promoting them. So I think that's a great question, Sherri. I think, well, I know that I would now do more research first to see how they are collaborating already, to really understand that they are a collaborator. Because when you are a collaborator, it really does hum when you collaborate with other collaborators. But when you're doing all the work and they're not, you kind of get frustrated too. So I would do more research on the people that I want to collaborate with.
Yeah, I think that's
So
great. I mean,
thank
it's
you.
that old saying that you're a combination of the 5 people closest to you. So I think
Yes.
that's true in terms of collaborations as well, right?
Right. It's very true. So
Yeah,
thank you. That's a great point.
very cool. Well, Joanne, it's been a pleasure to talk to you today. I really appreciate your time and being here, and the nuggets of gold that you've shared with us around collaborations and the power of partnerships and collaboration in growing our business. And I just want to thank you once again for being here.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.